Okay, I'm Mike Willis with USA Wrestling. We've got another edition of Team USA Tuesday today. I'm joined by Taylor LaMont, Greco-Roman national team member. Taylor, how are you doing?
Doing really good. Thanks for asking.
So thanks for taking some time and talking with us today. I've got a list of questions right here. Are you ready to jump into it?
This
All right, let's do it. Starting off, what is your favorite movie?
favorite movie, I would have to say probably Black Panther or maybe like The Expendables.
Right on. So you're action movie, superhero movie type of guy?
Yeah.
Cool. Who is your favorite musical artist?
John Mayer, hands down. I mean, I grew up with him and I've been to a couple of his concerts. When I say grew up with him, grew up listening to his music, obviously. But I love his music.
What's your favorite John Mayer tune?
Slow Dancing in a Burning Room. It's kind of me and my wife's romance song, even though the lyrics aren't really romantic. It's a good song of ours for us.
Gotcha. Did you dance to a John Mayer song at your wedding?
We did. Yep.
Which one?
Just to that one.
That one?
It was kind of funny because it's ironic because it talks about being doomed, but it was kind of our song all dating. So that's the song we danced to.
Awesome. What is your favorite food? And maybe what's your favorite food when you can eat whatever you want? And then what's your favorite food when you're watching your weight?
Oh, favorite food. I'd have to say just good old Domino's sausage and pepperoni pizza. That's yeah. And then when I'm cutting weight, kind of some like steak fajitas or something when I'm watching. Healthy, a lot of vegetables and still delicious.
Domino's pizza, man. You got to get to some real pizza places. That answer like hurts my heart a little bit. That's a rough.
Well, there's definitely better pizza, but it just like it's my go-to.
Fair enough. Who are your favorite wrestlers to watch, either past or present?
Roman Vlasov, I love watching him just because he's so dominant year in, year out. I mean, you'd think someone would figure out how to stop his lift by now, but only guy that could do that was Andy Pisek. But other than that, he's pretty fun to watch. And maybe another guy I like to watch is just David Taylor, just because of his relentless pace.
So do you think Vlasov will win the Olympic spot next year?
Um, I think there will, just because as long as there's force parterre, I think that he's going to be their guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you play any other sports growing up?
When I was younger, I played soccer. I was pretty big soccer player until sixth grade, and I actually played tennis in junior high too, but nothing seriously.
Yeah, so middle school was when you made the switch to wrestling full time?
Yep.
And what prompted that?
Um, well, it was really between soccer and wrestling. I love soccer, and it was my team was winning state every year, and then obviously I was having a lot of success in wrestling as a youth. So it was like at that point it was really one or the other if I wanted to jump levels, and so it was actually a tough decision. But I chose wrestling, and I picked up tennis in junior high just as a little for fun. But that wasn't seriously, but that just because I wanted to jump levels and I had big goals for myself.
What's your favorite sport to watch besides wrestling?
Football. I'm a
Football?
big time Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Oh, go Birds. I'm in Philadelphia, so go Birds.
Hey, sweet.
We're off to a rough start this year, man.
Yeah, it might be a rough season.
So in Utah, what led you to become an Eagles fan?
Just as a kid watching Invincible, the movie, it's stuck since then.
It's a good one. He's from Delco. They sell it like he's from Philly, but he's from Delco. But it's close enough.
Yeah,
We'll always take Vince Papali. Um, so what are some of your hobbies off the mat?
golf's a big one. I picked it up like 2 or 3 years ago, but once COVID hit, I really got into it. I was going like 5 times a week. So when I'm not wrestling or in school, I'm golfing.
Yeah. What's your handicap?
We don't have to talk about that yet.
um, so you can be serious or you can be a little bit funny with this answer. But what is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear. Oh, I feel my biggest fear is, and I've never had it. That's something I pride myself in is when I guess when it comes to wrestling is after a match, win or lose, if I regret how I trained, if I didn't work hard enough. If I mean, every time I've lost, I've walked off the mat proud of who I am as a wrestler. But it's my biggest fear to lose a match or even win a match and then realize I could have done better or could have done something differently in my preparation.
Yeah. How did you first get involved in the sport?
My dad, he wrestled in high school and college, and he started a youth club. So I mean, I was on the mat with wrestling shoes at age 3. So I started wrestling.
Was being the coach's kid tough, or did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I never thought it was tough because he didn't like give me any special attention. I went to like a bunch of other clubs too, so he was only my coach like half the time growing up, and so it was good to get out outside of his club too.
Yeah. Um, so you're really just kind of starting your senior level career. Obviously, you're still in college, but do you know what you want to do when you are finished with competing?
When I finish competing, hang up the shoes, I'll probably well, I'm in graduate school currently for my master's in marriage and family therapy, but obviously wrestling's my passion, so I see myself some sort of hybrid of using my therapist license and also coaching. And I would either want to coach at a collegiate level, like maybe D1 or an RTC, maybe focus on the Olympic styles. But I'm definitely going to use both of my skill sets of some sort. I don't know how that's going to look yet.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It's good to have options, right?
Yeah.
So Utah has been a state that has been a little more lenient, I guess I'd say, with COVID restrictions. You guys have been able to do a little bit more than some other states. So what has training looked like for you? And are you back in school yet? And what's going on with that?
Well, it hit us hard for a little bit, maybe for like a month or two, where everything was kind of shut down. But I mean, my dad, I'm very blessed and fortunate to. My dad actually has a home gym, so I don't have to get into the university room or something because that was shut down. I can drive a mile to my dad's house, and he has a gym. And then he also has another gym that a company has. It's a super nice wrestling room. So I mean, I have access to 2 rooms on top of my Utah Valley wrestling room, and so my training never really stopped. Dylan Gregerson was here, wrestled with him, and then I wrestled with some college guys that were just in town. So my training never really stopped, and it's picked up pretty significantly the last 2 months. Pretty much training full time now with our RTC and school. I have 2 classes online and 2 classes in person, but I'll probably be pushed to online here pretty soon.
What do the in-person classes look like right now? Like, are sparsely attended, or are they, full classes?
Well, since I'm in a graduate program, um, there's only 20 of us in the cohort, so that's about the size, that's the biggest it gets. But there's maybe 1 or 2 people that opt out and stay home and just watch it online. But yeah, and we're all just spaced out with masks on. But long 2.5 hour classes. But I'd rather be in person than online.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine a 2.5 hour class online. That would be kind of tough to get through.
Yeah.
So in this, kind of weird COVID world, Greco-Roman, national program has been putting on some camps in conjunction with coaches across the country in areas where, it's permissible by government guidelines. One of them was actually hosted in Utah. And I know you were saying you went to one in Nebraska as well. Could you talk a little bit about them and kind of the experience that you had with them?
Oh yeah, but the first one was in Nebraska, and Zach Dominguez did an excellent job setting that up, and Herb as well, Herb House. And I mean, I showed up when I was going out there. I was expecting maybe 6 or 7 guys there, but there were like 40, 50. I don't know how many, but it was an awesome group. I mean, I had 10 different partners to grab. really good. And yeah, it wasn't too hard. I mean, obviously, most of those guys hadn't been training. I'd been training, but most of those guys hadn't been training. So it's not like we had 2-hour grind practices. So it was kind of like a good introductory camp, try to get us back into the swing of things. And then I think like a month later, we were setting it up in Utah, and again, I was surprised. I thought we'd get like 10 guys, and we had probably 30, 40 guys there out of state. So I mean, it was a ton of fun, and a huge blessing that we've been able to do that.
Yeah. So you are registered for senior nationals, which is next week. Can you talk a little bit about your decision to wrestle in it and what you're looking forward to and expecting?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Tim Hands yesterday about this. I mean, I don't do this sport just to practice every day. It's a hard sport. It's a hard lifestyle, and my payoff isn't a money or a national title or whatever you want to put on it. I just love wrestling, and it comes down to that. I was thinking about it the other day. Like when I had my ACL surgery a couple years ago, by the time I had my last competition, got surgery, recovered, and had my next competition, it's actually been longer now than it was then. So this is the longest I've been since I've started wrestling my life, since I've been without competing. So I'm just excited. I don't know when the next competition will be. I mean, we have U23 scheduled in, but you never know with this world what will happen. So I'm just jumping on the opportunity and gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. So I think most people would say 60 kilograms domestically is, one of our deepest weights, if not our deepest weight. Ildar qualified the weight class at the Olympic team, the Olympic qualifier in Ottawa. So he's sitting in the Olympic trials finals. You're going to be in, a challenge tournament bracket to reach him. What is it going to take for you to come out on top that day in April?
I know I could beat anybody. I might not be. I mean, this is the humility. I mean, I might not be the best wrestler every day. I know that there's some people that are better technicians than me. I know there's some people that are stronger than me, but I'm confident in myself that I can beat anybody in the world. And that doesn't mean I'm necessarily a much better wrestler than them. That just means I'm good enough to beat anybody in the world. So when it comes to that day, I'll probably have 3 matches one day and 3 matches the next day. I don't know how it's going to look yet, but I just need to go into each match and take it one match at a time, not overlook anybody. I mean, we got 10 guys there that can all beat each other, so it's just going to be one match at a time.
So Greco is really your bread and butter, but you're a really good freestyle wrestler too. I think you won a couple Fargo titles. When did you make the decision to go Greco? Has Greco always been your favorite? And do you think we ever see you wrestle freestyle again?
So from a kid, I mean, I remember, I don't know if you remember, but back 10 or 20, or not 20, I don't know how old I am these days. A long time ago when I was a youth, the younger guys couldn't even wrestle Greco. I can't remember what age it was, but I just remember being so excited to finally be old enough to wrestle Greco. And ever since that moment, I love throwing people. I mean, I love reverse lifts. I remember as a kid, me and all my friends have contests to who could get the most fives. I'd always get in trouble for going straight back as a kid. So that's where I fell in love, was as a kid, just big throws. And that's what I still love about it. I love the big throws. It might not come very often, but that's what I live for. And freestyle is really fun. I mean, if you know me, if you come watch me a month of training, even when I'm like full blown Greco, I don't do Greco every day. I love Greco, but I have to mix it up a little bit. Freestyle and folk style are really fun to me. I just love wrestling, and so yeah, I will be wrestling freestyle U23s this next after. I'll do both styles, and I've had some interesting U23 tournaments. 2 years ago, I think I made the finals without any training. I was all Greco. And then last year, same thing. I was all Greco, no training, and I didn't do very good. I didn't even play. So this year, I'm actually going to have a little bit of freestyle training. And so hopefully I can win Greco the first day and then win freestyle next day. Or I think it might be a 2-day tournament. But I love freestyle. I know that I can turn anybody. But those better college guys, I gotta be able to take them down first.
Yeah. So I believe, and forgive me if I'm leaving off one, I believe you've competed like 7 years in a row in an age group world championship, which is insane. I'm pretty sure that's a record. Could you talk a little bit about that and what those, overseas experiences have been like for you and how they've helped you develop?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I made 3 cadet teams, 3 junior teams, and I'm 1 for 1 on youth. Well, kind of. I actually lost to Randon, but then circumstances happened, and I actually ended up being able to go. So yeah, I've been to 7 for 7 on world championships. This year will be the first year I don't get to go because there won't be a world championship. I guess if there's a senior, I could try, but it's been just a huge blessing. I've been to throughout the O's and other tournaments. I've been to countless different countries, and being able to go over there and see different cultures and see different styles of wrestling, it's really helped me grow as a person and as an athlete. And every world championships is different. I mean, it's so tough. Every person there is tough. You can't overlook anybody. That's what happened to me last year. I actually overlooked my first opponent. I had the best draw of my life, but can't overlook anybody. Everybody's setting their best guys, so everyone's tough.
Do you think that, having all that experience with international competition, granted age group international competition, but do you think that gives you a leg up on domestic guys that haven't had the opportunities for 7 summers in a row to get overseas?
I think so. I know that. I mean, like you said, on an age group level, but I've proven that I can wrestle with the best guys in the world, and I've seen the guys that I've beat and have competed with that have gone on to do big things on the senior level as well. So I know that I can compete with those guys, and I just got to make a senior world team first so I can prove it. But I think that we have a lot of very tough guys in our weight class of 60, and I just think that one thing is winning in the U.S. and it's a different thing winning overseas, and hopefully whoever gets a spot, hopefully it's me, but hopefully does it, can go out there and stand on top of the podium, listen to our national anthem.
Why is Utah Valley a good spot for you to train Greco and to pursue your Olympic goals?
Well, for me, I look at it more for my entire life. I mean, if I was just focused on wrestling, I'd probably live in Russia right now, live in Europe, but I mean, there's more things to life than wrestling for me. And I mean, I'm married. I have 2 houses in Utah that I live in one and rent out the other, and I'm in graduate school. And I mean, it's just the best package for me. My family's close. I love Utah. The mountains are beautiful. And then when you talk about the training itself, I have a great training environment. I mean, I might not have the best Greco-Roman coach in the world, but I think I have the best coaches for me in all 3 styles because they know me. They've watched me my entire life. They know how I think. They know how I move. So it comes down to that. It's the best fit for me through life.
Is it hard to balance school, having a wife, wrestling, having 2 houses? Is it something that you've got nailed down, or is it something that you always have to kind of work on?
I like to think I have it nailed down, but I mean, life. Every time you think you have life figured out, something else happens. But I mean, these last 2 months have been an adventure. Starting graduate school, that's definitely a new beast. I've had to wrap my mind around. That's gonna be something that goes with me through the summer, through the next 2 years. So I'm gonna be pretty busy with that for a while. So, but no, I think it makes me a better person, and I think each different area of my life helps me grow in the other area. So yeah, I love it.
Very cool. Very cool. What do you think the best advice you've received in your career has been, or a piece of advice that stands out to you?
Um, I can't put a name to the coach or the mentor. Maybe perhaps it was my dad, honestly, but it's a lot of it. He might have been the most influential in this aspect, but a lot of coaches have helped me do this. But I have throughout all this advice, I've kind of developed a mantra for my life and wrestling. I say before I step on the mat every time tell myself in the morning or whenever I have something tough going on. But it's just like kind of attitude of gratitude. So I have this mantra that says, always grateful, never satisfied. And so no matter what it is, I mean, this COVID world's pretty tough, and I could get down on myself. Oh, I mean, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, NCAA's were canceled on my birthday. That was a tough birthday present.
Oh, happy birthday, man. That's brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, to be able to just look and say, I got a lot to be thankful for, and so that's probably the biggest thing. If I step on the mat every time, and I'm grateful to be there, and that kind of takes away the pressure, takes away everything else. I'm just gonna freely wrestle my best match. At the same time, you're never satisfied. You're always working to do more.
So with NCAA's being canceled, that's tough for every wrestler that's looking to compete in them. But for you specifically, you were planning on taking an Olympic red shirt, and you came out of Olympic red shirt. Does that make it sting even more?
It does. It does really bad. So that's why this year I'm like, I'm taking Olympic red shirt if they let me. So that's what I'm doing now because I don't want to. I mean, it just comes down to I like competing. So it's like I'm there every day. I'm watching the home duels. It's like I want to go beat these guys. So that's what it came down. I just like wrestling. It's hard to stand and watch the team wrestle without you. But this, I don't want to. I mean, I say the word waste. It wasn't waste because obviously there was growth in that season, a lot of experience. But I don't want to have another national tournament wasted.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you give to a wrestler who's just starting out in his career or her career?
I would just make sure to learn to love the sport. I see a lot of really talented young athletes that are really good, really talented, and whether it's them or more cases than not, their parents that just push them and push them, and they're doing 3 practices a day. Eventually, they're gonna get burned out. I mean, some guys won't. I didn't. I'm kind of a special case. I learned how to love it early, but you gotta learn how to love this sport, especially if you have high goals, because it's not easy. I mean, college wrestling isn't easy. Senior level wrestling isn't easy. Getting wins at a high level isn't easy. I mean, when I was a youth in high school, I won everything, and now it's hard to get your hand raised. It's a battle every time you step across for someone, but so you have to learn to love the process, love to work hard, and just love the sport.
What do you think allowed you to love the sport? Do you think it's something that was like innately in you, or do you think it was something you developed?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I was naturally gifted and a naturally competitive person, but at the same time, I had a lot of good systems around me. I mean, we had a lot of tough guys growing up in my age group in my club. I mean, we have like more than 10 national champions in high school out of our youth wrestling club. A ton of those guys went on to wrestle D1. I mean, at Utah Valley alone, we've had like 8 or 9 guys that have been from my high school that went to UVU. I mean, it just maybe just the people I surrounded myself with made it fun.
Yeah. So where do you find your motivation, during a really tough training session or maybe a day where you're not feeling 100%? What do you kind of use to allow yourself to dig deep and do what you need to do?
I think it just comes down to gratitude again. I mean, that's repetitive, but I mean, I tore my ACL and I wasn't able to step on the mat for 3 or 4 months, and that sucked because that's how I deal with life. Wrestling's my therapy. So every time I'm having a tough time on the mat or getting beat up, I just tell myself I'm happy to be there. I mean, just like COVID, I mean, you never know. It's been twice now that wrestling's kind of been snatched from me suddenly, and so now every time I'm on the mat, I cherish it. And you never know when it's going to end. I mean, COVID could go on for another couple of years. I mean, I could break my back. Who knows? I mean, I'm just going to enjoy every moment I can on the mat. That's what gets me through the tough times.
All right. And my last question I got for you today, Taylor, is what is your best wrestling memory to date?
I think it's a tie. One was in my freshman year of high school, and me and my brother, he was a senior. We both won state titles that year, and they gave out 2 outstanding wrestlers. We both got outstanding wrestler, and we broke the state record for the for the most team points scored. So we won state as a team too.
That's pretty hard to top.
That was really fun. And then the other one was just my bronze medal in France at the World Championships. I mean, I was battling through a pretty significant back injury. We were out there for 2 weeks before, and I couldn't do any of the practices. I had to sauna and bike with just my legs to even get down to weight. I couldn't bend over. I couldn't lick my toes, and I had some really good mental training going into it. And I battled through 1 point at a time and won that bronze medal. And I think that was one of my best accomplishments.
Awesome. Hey, well, Taylor, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing some of your insight with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yep. I'm Mike Willis. This has been another edition of Team USA Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in.